A warm dim light is best when working with PrintMaker's Friend, but I'm going to switch over to a cool bright light so you can see better what I'm doing. This video is going to be about coding. In gum printing, there are about as many different coding methods as there are gum printers, but we can kind of, for at least PrintMaker's Friend, bring this down to either we'll call it thin coating. So this is a PrintMaker's Friend that's been diluted with a lot of water, or a kind of thick coating method where we haven't diluted the PrintMaker's Friend at all. For the black and white printing, I like to keep all my diluted colors in different Tupperwares. I'll have for those 6 different layers uh, for my recipes. And you can find the recipes in the Continue to Show Negatives tab. And then there's a recipe for the different layers of black. So for the first one, I think it's 2 parts clear, 1 part light black. And then the amount of emulsion to water, this is 1 part emulsion to 1.5 parts of water. So 50 grams of, let's say, light black with 75 grams of water will give you something about this consistency. For coating with this thin emulsion, I want to be fairly quick about this. And I want to be quick because for my first layer, it doesn't matter. You can spend all the time you want. But when I go to my second layer, I don't want to melt the first layer. If I melt the first layer, then I'm going to have lots of brush strokes in my print. And you can do a test. You can do a slow coating and a fast coating and see which result you like best. So I'm going to get some emulsion here. And when I coat, I want to imagine that my print or my paper is much larger than it really is. So I want to kind of coat all the way up to here. And I'd probably have my paper towels maybe even a little bit larger than this. I like to have paper towels behind here. It just makes less of a mess. It gives me a little bit better of a coating. So I want to coat all the way out to the edges, depending on how large my print is. If my print's smaller, well, then I don't have to worry about it as much. But let's say I'm trying to go almost all the way up to the border with my image. I want to coat the whole paper. So I'm going to go pretty fast about this, coat the whole thing, and then dry off my brush a little bit, and then just smooth this out. So this whole process takes maybe about, I don't know, 20 seconds. I can give this a little blow because there might be some bubbles. And then I'll hang this up to dry. So this is a little bit darker than your layer. First layer will look. This is actually the third layer. I'm just using this one so you can see a little bit better my coating. My coating on this is all right. You can see I was a little bit lighter here, a little bit darker there, but I think that's pretty good. So we'll hang this up to dry, and then once it's dry, we can expose it. The other coating method would be with a thicker emulsion. So this is just PrintMaker's Friend right out of the bottle. So I'll just pour out some of this. And we have kind of 2 options here. We can apply it to the page with a brush. And about the brushes, I'm using 2 different brushes here. We could use them interchangeably. But for the thin coating method, I find that just this is like a 2.5 euros or €2 at a hardware store. And then this is a more expensive artist quality brush. I find it works a little bit better for smoothing out the kind of thicker emulsion. So we could apply it to the page with a brush, but for larger prints, it's kind of hard to get it on there fast enough. It's quite thick, kind of hard to get even. So I find that using a roller works a little bit better for getting the emulsion at least onto the page. So I could also mark kind of where the edges of my print are, but I'm just going to eyeball it and say that we're printing something about like that. So this will at least give me a fairly even coat, but even as far as distribution, but you can see how there's all these bubbles and stuff. So I want to come with my brush here and just smooth this out. So I'll go once in that direction. And then move it out maybe a little bit more. If it starts to get sticky, we'll want to stop because at that point you'll start to get ridges and stuff in your print, ripple marks. It'll kind of look like sand underneath a beach. We'll let that dry, and then it's ready to be exposed.